Like I said before, this whole solar was an experiment, or this solar running my AC was an experiment, and I learned a whole lot from my first build of a solar system. And let me tell you, there's definitely some things to know and to look at when you want to build a solar system. Some really important things that I just didn't know starting out, that I would, now that I've built one, that I would have looked at more closely. Okay, we're going to start this solar results and lessons learned with a spreadsheet here. And just kind of go down it real quick. You can see I popped the panels for $100. Inverter was 100. Automatic transfer switch was 40. 100 amp battery I got for 130. 40 amp MPPT controller was 40 or $95. 20 foot of 8 gauge wire is what I used from the MPPT controller down to the battery for the charge circuit. Didn't have to really buy 20 feet of it, but it's handy to have around. Outside breaker that I added there at the end, that was $20. And then I added in the 50 feet of 10 gauge PV wire, and I got that for $65. That's actually 100 foot, 50 of each color. Didn't really need that much, and you probably could have sourced that in another place. But anyway, as you can see, I have a total of 570, but you can take 60 or 70 off of it real quick off the automatic transfer switch and the outside breaker. Those are not necessary, but we're still within that $500 range. I did get a little Cadillac there and added a few extras. But anyway, I just wanted to cover the cost. The total cost that I'm in it right now is $570. Okay, let's talk about the solar panels and kind of do a little bit of lessons learned on them. These are my 3 240-watt solar panels, and let's kind of discuss. I mean, technically, according to the label on them, they should give you 720 watts, but let's be realistic. These solar panels, they rate them, like mine are rated at 240. If you get 70% of that in the middle of the hot sun day, you're doing pretty dang good, to be honest. After I did some research between the heat of them, that and my solar panels don't track the sun, so they're not ever going to be pointing. Maybe once, for 5 minutes they'll be exactly point on with the sun, but for the most part they're not going to be. So really, kind of size it down about 30%. If you think it's going to be 600 watts, take 30% off of that. So that's number one. Number two is you can run your solar panels 2 different ways. You can run your solar panels in parallel or series. Currently, I have mine running in parallel, but series is a better way to go because the higher the voltage, the less current loss you're going to have on your wires. And the reason I'm running mine parallel instead of series right now is I went series first, and my MPPT controller was erroring out. And even though the panels are rated at like 30.4 volts PVV max, initial startup, they were going over 110 volts. And the solar controller I got was limited to 95. So that's something I would definitely look at when you're sizing your system, is not only look at, how many watts the solar controller will take, look at how many volts you can. Because what I ended up having to do is I'm having to run it in parallel. And I'm getting, like 27 or 28 amps out of it at like 28 volts. But if I could do that 90 volts, I'll only be getting 8 or 9 amps. But the math tells you it's much more efficient that way. You don't have any losses in the lines, etc. So definitely when you're looking at a solar controller, look at the not only the amount of watts it'll take, but the amount of PV volts, max volts it'll take. Obviously, if you're building a bigger system, this is a really important thing to look at. Now, I did find out, this is another caveat, once the sun went down, or even actually once the sun got to about 7 o'clock, I started losing, and it was starting to have to pull a little bit from the battery. But basically, from the math I can tell, with the 8,000 BTU AC I've got with a 100 amp hour battery, at best, I can get about 4 hours out of it. So I need probably about 300 amp hours if I want to run 24/7. And hopefully I'll get enough over what it needs to run during the peak of the day to charge the batteries to carry it through the night. That'll be another experiment. But with a 100 amp hour battery, basically, I'm looking at, I turned it off after an hour of the sunlight out, and I still had 75% of the battery. So the math says I could get about 4 hours out of it before it depleted it. You really don't want to run your batteries that dead anyway, so I killed it at 75. But it's already a huge win, because guess what? During the hottest part of the day, the most important part of the day that I need that AC to run, solar carried it the whole time. It carried it from 11 to dark. I mean, I can't ask for more. It's really a big win. And just a few tweaks here and there, I think I'll be able to pretty much run my shack totally AC, totally off of solar. You know, of course, now it's really got me thinking, man, I had a couple more panels. Nice thing is, too, is, you know, I'm not a prepper, but, you know, it's always nice to be prepared. And come down to it, with that system that I have right now, I run me over a DC cable to all my amateur radio equipment over here, and I could run 24 hours nonstop, day in, day out, as long as there was a little bit of sun, which is really a nice additive. Not only am I getting my cooling done during the hot part of the day done through solar, I'm also prepped so that if it ever hits the fan, that I can run this radio, and you know, I can run the radios and a nice fan to keep me cool without the AC, because I'm not gonna be able to do both. But you know, come to it, you know, I don't think I'll be worried about AC. I'll be more worried about getting on the radio and finding out what's going on. So this has been a total win, and I run a time lapse for you here and let you just watch how this system ran from 11 to 9:15 at night, and then we'll come back and we'll just do a little final on it. Pretty impressive, guys. I'm tickled pink. I mean, shoot. I mean, 11 to 9:15, that's 10 hours and 15 minutes, and I still had 75% battery. I call that a huge win. And, mind you, it's during the peak of the day, the hottest part of the day. It'll carry it fine. In fact, it loves it, you know. I got more power the hotter it is and the brighter it is outside. I don't know how everybody just doesn't go to solar. It makes so much sense, because usually my electric bills are all consumed by AC. And the solar is like the perfect solution to AC. When it's hot and sunny, that's when it performs its best. It's like a win-win. Anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. I'm going to probably do some more solar stuff. I'm really into it now, and hopefully it'll be interest to you. And if you're building the system yourself, I can kind of take you along. I learned a lot from my first trial system. Learned something from this. Like I said, I'll continue to do some reviews on this stuff, and I'll bring you along on my my solar experiment here. It's not an experiment anymore. It's going to be my solar monopoly. I'm just going to keep building solar until hopefully I don't have an electric bill anymore. That would be nice. Anyway, this is TheElectronMan. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. And as always, have a great day out there, 73s.